tired, because I am tired. It is almost 3:30 in the morning right now. We just got into a TA in Denton, Texas, which is north of Dallas. Out of our way. So you'll see in the videos before this one what we were dealing with in Oklahoma. So we left out of Missouri. There was an ice storm in Missouri last night that we drove through. Got up this morning. The roads have been treated. They were in good shape. Made our delivery in Kansas City. Picked up a load in Kansas City. Headed back south. Got a load going to Houston. And we're heading south down I-49 through Missouri. Everything's fine. Get on 44 west in Oklahoma. And we take that over to Big Cabin, Oklahoma, and we get on 69 south, which is going to take us south down to Houston, but on the east side of Dallas, so we don't have to drive through Dallas. So we get on 69 south, and I'm rolling along about 65 mile an hour, and I don't know, the road starts looking funny to me, so I back it down to about, I'm going probably between 55, 60, and I'm using the gas pedal. I'm driving with my feet. I'm not using the cruise control, just because it felt awkward. Well, sure enough, we start rolling up on all kinds of people in the ditch, and you saw the videos, and that's not all. That wasn't all we saw.
You would have ran out.
Tons and tons of vehicles in the ditch, and we came up on one truck that had rolled over in the ditch, and we pulled over, and all his lights were still on, which isn't out of the ordinary, except for his headlights were on. His brights were still on, and so we thought it just happened, someone was still in there. As it were, there was no one in the truck, and of course all the recovery vehicles are busy because there's trucks and cars in the ditch just all over the place. But the farther south we got, it started to get a little better, and when we got close to Texas, it was in pretty good shape, and we were able to go 65 again. We reserved a spot at the Pilot in Anna, Texas, something like that. And it just started to like freezing drizzle right as we were getting there. And because we had to drive so slow through Oklahoma, and I mean slow, 20 to 25 mile an hour for probably 100 close to the truck on my side, and Shotgun was outside the truck, and she's like, "Man, you're almost touching this trailer over here." So I get out and look, and I am touching it, just barely, but it's touching. So to get out of that, we had to release the tandems and slide them all the way to the back so that the trailer would just come forward on those two axles without any swing in either direction. And we barely made it out of the hole. And I swung it around. I was going to try it again, but Shotgun was about to have a heart attack. So she didn't want no more part of that spot. So we left out of there, and Marcia, and all her wisdom, who's been screwing us over all day with her misguided directions, she said there was a TA 20 miles away with 180 spaces. All right, let's go there. So start out down the road, and we get on I-35 east, and we're going into Dallas, and she says 20 miles. Okay. So I get off I-35 one spot that was open.
Got it.
And we got lucky. And in the morning, if I get a chance, which I probably won't, because I probably won't get up, but I can show you. Right now, I can show you this. So I'm all the way back in my spot. My tailgate's about a foot over on the driver's side because the line's painted straight. So the back of your spot is at an angle. So my bumper's over a little bit. So I'm clear back in my space. This is an oversized load beside me. So he's wide, but he's not long. Flatbedder. It looks like he's got locomotive frames on his trailer. Now look how far out this guy is. I mean, he's too far out. Now I'll be able to get around him, but another flatbed that may have parked here, he would have struggled. And then you can't really see. And this is the truck beside me. So you can see that his nose is even with mine when his nose should be back to about my rearview mirror. And he's got at least 20 foot of space back there because there's a drop trailer behind it. And a drop flatbed, and he left plenty of room back there, an extra 10 feet in his spot. But this guy's 10 feet from being all the way back to the rear of his spot. And this is the kind of stuff that drives me crazy because when I pull in that spot, I try to get all the way to the back so my nose isn't hanging out. And I try to get as square in the spot as I can and as even as I can on both sides so that as a courtesy to the other drivers around me, they have room to back in or pull out or whatever they're trying to do. And part of it's because I don't want to get hit. But then, you kind of got to think about the guy beside you or the guy that's going to be beside you. And how's he going to get in and out of the hole? And, I mean, sometimes a lot of these guys just don't. They fly in here, they back up like their pants are on fire. Throw the brakes and they're done. And they're crooked. They're not all the way back in the hole. I don't get it. I'll pull up 3-4 times. Shotgun gets on me all the time because I'll be back. I'm in the lines and I'm looking out and I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I said I'm too close over here. I can move it over 6 inches, and I'll do it. And I'll pull up 2-3 times to make sure I do it because that's just, I don't know, to me it seems right. But anyways, I'm done rambling. It's been a long day for us, for both of us, and I'm going to try to get some sleep. We'll go in the morning and shower and get some food, and right now we just need to try to calm down and to the point where we can get some sleep. My hours won't reset till 1 in the afternoon, so no big hurry getting out. We'll come back to you in the morning.